What's going on, traders? Welcome back to Start Swing Trade, where we talk about the swing trade setups and, of course, take a look at the trades that I made during the day. We'll get right to the action. It looks like we are getting a little bit of some choppy markets, wouldn't you know it, but definitely a little bit of some volatility today. Let's get right to the action. Let's take a look at the market right now. You guys can see the SPY bouncing up here to 456 and then smack right back down. Look at the volatility that we're seeing right now. It's definitely expanding. You can also see that on the daily ATR. I'm going to start paying attention to see if this is going to expand there, but we definitely are extended also from the 9 EMA. So we could go into the red today. I feel like the Qs can go into the red today. We'll see what happens here. Does it reject the VWAP, come right back down? This is why I'm actually long on the SQQQs for a swing trade in Moo. I have 1671s, going to look to keep holding this, look for this to go higher. But also want to take this in my other account. And as I start to see this start to go down, this starts to look interesting for different stocks, right? Will NVIDIA finally really crack? I think that this is starting to see a real turnaround here from around the 670 level, but we're like 6 points off of that. So you got to be careful here, understand what you're really risking if you're coming after a stock like this. Tesla turning around from the 299 today. Will Tesla get whacked today at the earnings? Something to think about. Netflix, not bad move today. It is holding in here. Could make a move here towards the end. I'm wondering, does Netflix get above 500 today with their earnings? I'll tell you one thing. I ain't going shorting Netflix. I think that Netflix might still kind of stay up here, even if it pulls back with the earnings. Maybe it's back down to 460s, something I'm keeping an eye on. We'll see what happens there. All right, I see about 50 of you guys out there. Smash a like. Let's get to the action. Throw up your number one stock that you looked at today in the chat. Shannon, how you doing? Good first day back. It's good to see you back in the chat. It's been a little while. Did you enjoy your vacation? I hope you had a good one. Indeed. Workhorse keeps going from here. We'll take a look at some of these stocks. I see you guys in the chat talking about some. T talking about it there. J, a bit of a chop fest. Without that Apple news and AI news. Yeah, definitely. Did you guys see that, right? Apple supposedly working on AI and getting a huge spike. I mean, without this spike, where would the market be today? But I also think this also caused down spikes in Google, down spikes in Microsoft. Why? Because the truth is if the leaders like Apple are also going to be making AI, who's really going to get the revenue here? And is the pie getting smaller as we keep getting more and more AI mentions? Something to think about, right? Of course, today, technology turning around, and we're going to talk about my trades coming up in a second. But I just really want to get into the market first because I feel like today is some wicked movement. We could talk about my trades, but it's been a hard day indeed, seeing basic materials down also today. And so I was looking to see basic materials continue to rise. And there's some industries that are rising today, like agricultural inputs. Definitely would keep an eye out on MOS continuing for a nice little uplift here after really getting smacked for a while now. We'll look to see if this gets back above 39s, but you are starting to see these agricultural inputs or potash stocks start to really get the lift. So keep your eyes on them as they keep going higher. You got silver stocks up also. Copper stocks up today. So a little bit of a mixed bag. What's down big? Lumber, steel, and building materials. So keep your eyes on those. And then, of course, industrial metals and minerals is something that I'm looking at. I did take a new trade in here in the industrial metals and minerals. I took Vale. So this is one that I have at 1401 in the swing account. We'll see what happens on that. And I'm just looking for a bigger move, right? Going to watch let it hold around the 1375s, want to move towards 1450s. Really a move back towards 15 and 16 is what I'm looking at. We'll see if that can keep going. CCJ pulling back today. That was one that I played yesterday. We'll see if this one can pull back enough for me to play it again. It wasn't a bad move yesterday. It was a move straight up pretty much all day. So we'll see what happens on these metals and minerals. I also had LAC that I'm keeping a close eye on. I am just pretty much, I'm down for the day on this position, green overall. So looking to see if LAC can get back up above 2150s, because if you can't make the move soon, it'll break this 9 EMA on the daily, Definitely not going to let it break that. That's kind of like going back through 2075s. We'll look to see if we get that. Right now, I'm in at 2093s. So you can see I'm just slightly in the green. Right now, it's at 2105s. We'll look to see if Lithium Americas keeps going. And of course, we're talking about the industrials, metals, and minerals industry. All right, let's keep going. It's good to catch you guys out there. Daddy Backstrap said, I like LTHM off this level. Let's take a look real quick. Off to 28 doesn't look too bad. This one has been a pretty strong stock. I've been looking at the monthly chart on this one, and it's been trying to grind higher, right? You can take a look at it on the weekly. We'll look to see if this one finally ever gets to push above 30s, 32. I like also MP, the way that that's been reacting, but you guys can see here pulling back on the week, at least for right now. We'll see if the daily is able to get back up. And PLL is another one to kind of keep on watch, right? All these are kind of similar, and I'm wondering, do these get the lift? We'll have to find out. I mean, LAC still looks good long term. If it can get above 22s, give me a breakout to 24s. Lithium Americas could really get going. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going. Is this the new time, Mitch Hammer? Yeah, so I'm right now. So what's going on, Hammer, is that I'm working on kind of doing a new show in the background. So I've kind of had to limit start swing trade to kind of more of a 30-minute slot right now as I, keep working on that. It's going to take a little bit while longer. So look forward to some new changes, and they're going to be big improvements, right? And that's what I'm always trying to do for you guys out there right here on Benzinga. So stay tuned. I know that this time has switched a little bit more towards 3:30. And the key is I still make it action jam-packed. I make sure to get through all the stocks. So if you guys got a stock you guys want to check out, make sure you throw it up there. We'll still get through all the topics. All right, let's keep going. Glad I took profits on that MP, says Hammer. Yeah, I mean, it's pulling back right now. It doesn't look too bad, but I think it could try this down gap first, right? Where it tries this little space here, then gets to the lift. So that's a cut through 24. And then I'll look to see if it gets back up towards 26. But taking profits, never a bad thing, Hammer, especially in this market. Today, I did take some profits, so let's get into that action talk. We can talk a little bit about the industrial area that was just up about 0.11% today, continuing higher, but not a big lift off today. There is one stock that I did take some profits today and kind of had to. I mean, look where Deere is now, guys. I remember when we first started trading this at 401. It's been a good 2 weeks, right? I mean, this has been now up about 2 weeks, and I got this at 401.61. We're now up there towards 434s. So as it was getting up here, I talked about top range, looking at the 440s and maybe even above to new highs towards 460s. But this has been a really nice break to the upside. And there's some resistance up here. So I have to be smart. I can see on the monthlies some resistance up here around the 440s. We'll see if we keep going through. But I'm also not going to give up this gain of 30-something points, right? Because it could pull back to the 9 EMA, which is a move right back down to the 420s. This has been a really good move there in Deere. Probably one of my best trades of the year, if not my best trade. I need to review it, but I think it is my best trade of the year. We'll find out. Really nice trade there. I mean, percentage-wise, it's not the biggest, but actual kind of return, it's looking pretty good. We're up about 8.29% on Deere. And I mean, for a $400 stock, not a bad position there. All right, let's keep going. I see you guys in the chat. Matt, what's going on? It's good to see you out there. Michael. And we'll see what else is going on. Hammer, when I try to bottom fish, I try to aim for a 50 or 61.8 retracement. I like that. That's a good way to go about it. At least you're not looking for the huge move back, but just some of that retracement of getting hit, right? Bottom fishing. I like the outlook there. Google is being mentioned in the chat. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let me just keep going to the industrials so I don't confuse us too much. Cat really taking a nice little lift also while this Deere move has been going on. We'll see if these industrials can keep going higher. Picard keeps going higher. This stock just keeps pushing towards the upside. It seems like the XLI really taken to the upside as of late. Not a bad movement here towards 110. We'll keep watch on Boeing. Boeing has been taking a little bit of a decline, so be careful there as that starts to pull back. Lockheed Martin pulled back also. So we could start seeing a little bit of some pullback in these industrials if they can't hold. American Airlines reports tomorrow before the open. Don't miss that report. It's going to be major. And if I could get American to pull back, let's say to 16, yes, I'm going buying. But right now, I can't jump in here at 1861. We'll see if we get some pullback action. Same thing for UAL. If for any reason it starts to get hit and it comes back to 50s, 48s, I'm definitely a buyer. DAL, that one's going to be hard to see it come down, but the level that I would want to see there is down there towards 41 or 40s. I don't think that's even going to come back to that level on Delta, but we'll see what happens there. Carnival Cruise Line, we'll see if these can pull back eventually. I'm looking for some pullbacks on these, but they need some pullback for sure. All right, let's go to the industrial space. What else is making moves there? Railroads kind of moving up. This isn't the biggest trade here, right? But it is keeping the move higher. UNP pushing higher, CNI, CP, NSC. So what is this? This is kind of more of that value play, right? Looking for some value here. This doesn't look too bad. FSTR. These are smaller players, very small volume. Be careful out there, team. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other stocks. Of course, there's some rental leasing services that show up here. How's the Hertz Dragon? I haven't seen this one really take off, but I feel like at any point it could push higher through that 20. It held the pullback recently. Let's see if it takes the next step up. How's CAR doing? It's continuing to move higher. It's up there to 240s and just stair-stepping its way. If it breaks that 9 EMA, though, be careful because things can turn around in a hurry. All right, we'll get to Apple. Don't worry. I'll make sure to talk about it. I did talk a little bit about the news earlier, but we'll make sure to cover it again. All right, we'll get into, of course, technology. We talked about some of those names already. Let's go to energy, though, as I want to talk a little bit about some of the upside moves today. Energy making another upside move, and I'm going to keep watching XOM to see if this can continue pushing. And now it's pulled back, so maybe this gives me an opportunity to maybe come after it here. I do want to see it maybe pull back a little bit closer towards this 101.50s. This doesn't look too bad here for a turnaround. I did take one oil name today. I said, you know what? I'm going after Valero for this move. I like this daily setup. And I said, I will go after it here, looking for the 119s, 121s to really start taking off. So I got a piece of Valero today. Nice little lift off here. I have 116.95s, almost up a point on this name. And I really like this movement. I could really start seeing oil kind of start taking off here. So I could start going after multiple names here. MPC looks good for this to start returning, right? This is kind of that, you got that 1, 2, 3 move, and then you get an ABC correction. This does not look too bad here. As I look for this to kind of get the next lift here towards 125, we'll see if this can start moving. Marathon Petroleum Corp. And there's some other ones here, right? Phillips 66. Doesn't look too bad for a move back above 105. You guys can take a look at Chevron. Chevron kind of making a little bit of a move back to the upside today, but kind of holding off a little bit. Not as strong as some of these. And Oxy, I actually got caught in earlier today. I got stopped out in this one eventually, but it was starting to come back. We'll see if it's able to hold on. Warren, where you at? Go buying on Oxy because it seems like it needs some help. We'll see what happens there. All right. Hammer said, I got some energy. Laugh out loud. It's on love right now, so I like it. Laugh out loud. And I agree. That's the reason why I'm also looking at some energy names. I'm seeing the flip back to the upside. MRO is one that I was looking at earlier today. Of course, I had this one yesterday, sold it in the Moomoo account for the swing trade. We'll see what happens there. Let's get back to the Qs. The Qs still continuing to leak. We'll see what happens there. SQQQ is what I'm trying to play it with in Moomoo account. We'll look to see if this can go higher, but the Qs definitely pulling back a little bit today. Will they start to crack? Something to keep an eye out for. All right, so you guys wanted to talk about Apple so much. Yes, Apple had made that huge jump with that AI chip mention or something according towards the lines. And according to the report, it's nothing that's proven, right? And I think this is something that we need to look at. It just looks like they're trying to make something like ChatGPT. And can you blame them? I'm sure they already have the capabilities. They just need to get it to the finished product. We'll see Apple, I'm sure, come out with some type of AI product. Did you really expect Apple not to be included in AI? Let's just be honest. Of course they're going to be. And of course they're going to have it into the iPhone, right? Let's just be honest. That's going to come. Now, will this continue giving Apple the lift and the forward outlook? One thing that I'd be looking for is pullbacks to the 9 EMA around 192, 193s, and then look for this to come for the 200. It did do a little bit of a spike, but it's kind of stuck in a channel right now. And that's one thing that I would point to. Let it get towards the bottom of the channel, and then maybe you can take this shot. Right now, you guys can see that channel. Let it come back towards that bottom of that channel, and then maybe we can take another lift off here for Apple. A nice little pullback, let's say 194s, 193s seems to make sense. Even it could come back down towards 190. Right now, in the middle of the channel, do I want to take a buy? Hell no. I'd have to risk off of like kind of like 195 or 194. And that's just way too easy to get stopped out on a pullback. All right, let's keep going. My thoughts on Boyle. I won't touch it even with your money, Shiny. And that's the way I feel about Boyle, but that's just my thoughts, right? Boyle is actually on the banned list. I won't trade it at all, man. And the reason why, it just keeps coming down. Every time you think it's going to come back up, it just keeps coming down. Will this eventually change? Yes, but I don't think it's coming right now. This had to do a split to kind of hold it up there, right? That's where you know that it's pretty bad there in Boyle. They had to split it to keep it up here. If not, it would be pretty low. It'd be like UNG, right? I mean, that's pretty low down there at $7. I'd actually probably like UNG a little bit more than Boyle, even though Boyle has a tendency of moving a little bit faster. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going with some other stocks in the market. Let's go to the utility names. Those did well today. XLU is one way to play that in the intraday action. I think these could go higher, but in these stocks that stand out to me, not by any means. Utilities, not the biggest return there. We'll leave it alone. Communication services, T-Mobile and not T-Mobile, AT&T and Verizon bouncing back today after bad mentions of lead cable that really kind of hurt the stock. And then, of course, the earnings getting a bounce back today. Verizon and AT&T bouncing back today. We'll see if these are able to hold this, but it was a really hard takedown. Now bouncing back. I'd leave these alone. These are not stocks I want. I don't want Verizon. I don't want AT&T. But hey, to each his own if you like these stocks. And just to kind of state, T-Mobile actually went down on the news about the lead cable. So this could be maybe affecting T-Mobile a little bit more than AT&T. So this does look like it's trying to pull right back down towards the 130. This doesn't look as strong as some of the other ones. And I could see this pulling back down there towards the 130. Not strong by any means here. All right, we'll see if T-Mobile does start to break down, back down to 135s and the 130s. Could be a crack there. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action. Financial services continuing higher in Goldman Sachs with the rope a dope. It felt like it because it went down, 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 and right back to the upside. There you guys see it. Just ducked, weave, and then threw the haymaker to the upside as you saw Goldman Sachs come right back up there today. It went up towards 340s, came back 332s, then just ripped through 340s. Going up there almost to the 346 spot. We went to 345.88. We'll look to see if this can continue to hold now an hourly pattern for pullbacks. That could be pullbacks closer towards 338.60s, 338.50s. We'll see if this is able to hold and continue to the upside. This looks actually pretty interesting because the banks are really starting to get strong. I mean, look at the KRE today. That went up there to 47. If this gets to 50, you can kiss that regional bank concern goodbye. PACW coming back today. Nice little move there to 10. About $1 lift there in PACW. Wall with a nice little move higher. You know, this is a nice little 11% from the open. And, of course, they already had given earnings. They were actually coming down on their earnings. And with this bank action, getting a nice little lift here. Not a bad little move here. And I got you, Tony. Don't worry. We'll take a look at Snow. Snow's one of my favorites, of course, with all the mentions. But what happened today and why Snowflake might be taking a little bit of a hit? Did you see the mentions that came from Microsoft? That's one thing to think about. Microsoft mentioning multiple times about getting into what? Cybersecurity. And that's also affecting Snowflake here as that starts to pull back. But do I like this Snowflake pullback? Yes. I've been looking for a move for a reversal right back up there towards this high. And I drew a box here to kind of make that stand out, right? Would we go back up there? That was drawn on July 5th as we were starting to come down here on this red side. Well, now let's expand it. Now you're back up into that 190 space. So what would I look for? I'd look for pullbacks to this trend line to kind of hold. So let's say a pullback towards 180s and then taking the next lift through 200 is something I'd be watching for in snow. Now, if I break 170 again, that's where I'd start getting concerned. That'd be another attempt to break through the support, and then we could be breaking the pattern. But for right now, snow doesn't look that bad. It's just on a little bit of a pullback. ARKK continuing higher, and that just shows me more and more. Growth names are going to take their pullbacks. Got to be careful, but they are pushing strong. Look at Roku as of late, man. There's some stocks here that could keep pushing, especially some of these growth names. All right, let's keep going. Of course, and ARKK is in snow is included in the ARKK, and that's why I also take a look at that. Another similar stock is like kind of Roblox, kind of setting up for a move. But with the market the way it is right now, where it's kind of going sideways, that's where you got to be careful. These could go sideways for a period and then take the next lift. Remember, going into out of summer, we usually get this lull. So we could be in some sideways trend for a while, especially in the overall market. We'll see what happens. Walter, the lead reaction confuses me when so many houses around here are still coated in lead. Yeah, Walter, I mean, it's just overreactions, right? Let's just be honest. That's what it is. All right, let's go to some other action in the market. ATVI starting to pull back a little bit. So watch out. Maybe the deal isn't done. Maybe this could come right back down. I think eventually this deal gets done, but definitely it's pulling back today. All right, let's get into some other action. I do have Ross Stores. So let's talk a little bit about this one. I took this one yesterday, of course, and it's starting to go higher. Doesn't look too bad. We'll look to see if Ross Stores can really start to push on the daily. I'd like this to start holding 112 on pullbacks. I have this from 110.97, pretty much 111, right? Now I just want to see this start to push to the upside. Get back up there towards the 120, then give me a breakout towards 122s or 125s. That's really where I want to take profits. I think this could really get going. I just got to be patient and let this continue to climb the trend. All right, Kathy said Bitcoin is going to a cajillion. Yeah, maybe she's right. Maybe she's wrong. Who knows, right? How's Mara doing? Mara is catching a little bit of a pullback buy today. So that one's actually not a bad one to keep watch, especially if it keeps holding these levels, could keep ripping higher. We'll see what happens on that one. You can watch HUT, you can watch Hive, MSTR. These all have continued to trend and maybe a little pullback and then the next move up. We'll see what happens. Bitcoin has been hanging out on that 30K support. Let's see if it makes a move to 40K. Find out. All right, let's keep going. Did you all catch the Charles Schwab train? No, I did not. That was a big pullback today. This actually doesn't look as hot as it was looking, and not making the biggest move today. Pulling back a little bit. Could get into this gap zone. I could see it trying to get into this gap zone. I'm not the biggest fan of chasing this type of move here in Charles Schwab. I think it was too big of a move too fast. So you could get a move back to 60 and then it comes back up to 68. If I could get it at 60, I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not buying it up here at 66. That's just me. Like always, you guys can call your own shots. Sean Green, if you have it, hey, best of luck to you, my friend. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action in the market. Man, my Futu, man, my moo broker is doing well right now, man. This actually is looking pretty good. Would like to see this kind of cut through 50. It's looking like the best of some of these, but also you have a Hood going up as of late. Hood has been making a move quietly making new highs is Hood. Keep your eyes on that stock. That has actually been a pretty strong trend as of late. Look at it in July. It's up about 30%. When's the last time you heard someone talk about Robinhood? It's been some time, right? Yet? It's pushing strong. We'll see what happens. Sean says, I got in at 38, 100 shares. Not a bad trade there, Sean. At 38, I mean, you're looking pretty good at this level. So, hey, power to you, man. Wish you the best. It's looking good there at 66. We'll see if it keeps going. All right. And then if you're in at that level, I would also look for pullbacks to 60 to hold to show you that it keeps trend, right? Like kind of the 9 EMA, maybe the 50 moving average, or you're using like a 20 simple, something like that is what I'd be looking at. All right, let's keep going. Bank of America is up again, and this is actually breaking away from the bearish pattern now. Now that you're back above the 31s, this goes to show me that, hey, I know there's a lot of concern about the banks, but the price action is no longer showing that. If anything, I think Citi could be a buy here through 48. And so I'll be watching these banks. I think they could start pushing higher. Regional banks will do the faster move. So keep your eyes on those. We'll see if those can start to make a lift. PNC, maybe this one gets the lift. This has a kind of nice inverse head and shoulders. Their earnings really weren't that bad. Now they're starting to lift a little bit. This is one of the favorites in the retail. I've seen a lot of people have PNC Bank. Let's start seeing this go above 130s, hold 135, get up there towards 140s. So it's about $10 right now for, I could see about maybe $5 or $7 of risk. Doesn't look too bad right now if this should start moving. PNC Financial doesn't look that bad at all. All right, let's keep going. AUR, nice little move there. Nice little pullback there. Are you getting a little bit of a lift there on AUR? Nice little pop fill there. 4 p.m., it just hit. What happened there on AUR? I'll have to keep an eye out for it. All right, of course, tonight we'll be watching, of course, Tesla. How will that report affect Tesla tonight? And, of course, Netflix. Look at Netflix go. First reaction to the upside, then right back to the downside. It goes towards 458. 460 was the level that I was looking at for maybe potential pullbacks going towards 450s, 460s, holding this 9 EMA. If it cracks 450 and is down to 440s, that's where I'll be concerned about Netflix tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Big pullback. And guess what? You guys can catch the Netflix call and the Tesla earnings call right here on Benzinga. Don't go anywhere, team. We always got a lot more for you guys right here. So take a look at that earnings and then catch the earnings call for Netflix and Tesla tonight right here, of course, on Benzinga. I'll see you guys bright and early on pre-market prep. Hope you guys enjoyed Start Swing Trade. And let's see, can I stay into the green? I got about what? We got 7 positions on, 2 in the red, 5 in the green. Let's see if I can stay in the green tomorrow. We'll find out, guys. Smash the like on your way out. And I'll see you guys, like always, right here, of course, on Start Swing Trade. Until next time, team, smash the like and keep it going on Benzinga.